Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to cast your VPN connection streaming to your smart TV. Now, we've shown in this channel, and I've made lots of videos about how to unlock geo-blocked content like BBC iPlayer or the US version of Netflix, and you can get them working on your laptop, PC, tablet and everything. But a lot of us have got rather better TVs than we have monitors or screens on our laptops. So what happens if you want to watch that? How do you get that VPN connection content streaming from your laptop to your smart TV? Well, it's not actually that difficult, but there are a few little hurdles and a few different options indeed to doing that. So let's have a look at them. Okay, so why do you use a VPN for streaming? Why would you want to on your smart TV? First of all, to bypass geo restrictions. So there's lots of services that are very, very dependent on where you live. So if you live in Belgium, you can watch Belgium TV fine, but you can't watch BBC iPlayer, and you can't watch the US version of Netflix. And if you're in the US, you can't watch BBC iPlayer and Belgium TV, and so on. Lots of streaming service like BBC, Hulu, Netflix, ABC, NBC, just about any TV media channel that you like, have restrictions. You can only watch it from certain locations. VPN unlocks those barriers instantly. I use a VPN all the time, and for instance, I can watch BBC iPlayer wherever I like. There's BBC iPlayer, and I've got the US version of Netflix here, as you can see. I'm just using a VPN to mask my location. I encrypt my connection, hide my IP address, and the VPN makes it appear like you're browsing from the allowed region. Full access. It's great stuff. Once you get used to having a VPN, you can't live without them. In fact, if you want to try it out, try the VPN. I've got a great price for NordVPN, the world's most popular VPN. It's very cheap, and you can get a great discount of up to 70% if you use the link below my description. Let's move on. Anyway, so the problem is that most smart TVs don't support VPN apps natively. I've got a pretty advanced smart TV, I think. It's only last year's model, and it's quite hard to get the VPN working on that. And in fact, it's much easier to just use the VPN on my laptop. And most people are in the same place, but so you can cast from your laptop onto the TV, but there's a few ways of doing it. Let's have a look. Basically, how to cast VPN streaming from a laptop. You've got to do the same steps. Subscribe to a premium VPN service, so like pick whichever you want, NordVPN, ExpressVPN, whatever. As I say, I use NordVPN because it works well with BBC iPlayer, but there are others there, so pick your favourite one. Connect to the target country server. If you want to watch BBC iPlayer, you need to connect to a UK server. If you want to connect to US Netflix, you need a US server, and so on. And then start streaming. So let's say it's on a laptop. Open the streaming service and begin playing your desired content, and make sure it all works. Okay, then how do we get it to the TV? There's a few options. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail in all of them. But let's say your main ones are Chromecast, which is very simply to use. You just basically click the cast icon in your browser or streaming app, and you can connect directly to your TV. Now, there's a little caveat to that. Let me just show you the cast. If you go for the three little dots in Chromecast, you obviously have to be using Chrome as a browser. And then if you click on Cast, Save and Share, you'll see this little button there, and you simply cast. Then it will find your smart TV as long as you're on the same Wi-Fi network, and whatever is on in your browser screen will be cast onto your TV. It's that simple. Now, I should point out there's a difficulty here that both devices need to be on the same Wi-Fi network, and this applies for all of these. I've got listed here. Otherwise, they won't see it. Now, the problem with the VPN is it actually puts your device on a different network. So as soon as you connect the VPN, your laptop will be on if you're connecting to the US for US Netflix, it'll be on a US network. And of course, your smart TV won't be on that network, so they won't see each other. It's a bit annoying, but there is a way around it. Let me just explain the other options here. First of all, the reply based on a network. We've got Apple AirPlay, which works very similar to Chromecast. Just mirror your screen from your MacBook or whatever iPad onto the TV. It works exactly the same way, really, as Chromecast. It does the whole screen, though. It mirrors the whole screen rather than just the tab in the browser. Miracast, you probably didn't realize that Windows has got a feature called Miracast, which you can access by pressing the Windows key and K. And you can see you'll get this menu here, and this does a direct network wireless connection to your smart TV. Again, these three options can have the same issues, that they need both devices to be on the same Wi-Fi network, particularly Chromecast and Google Cast. Miracast, I think, works okay sometimes with the VPN directly, but you need to check. I don't use that very often. I would suggest, if you're using Chromecast, which works perfectly well, is to use, if you have it available, this is a Chrome extension, NordVPN's Chrome extension. Instead of using the full VPN program, you can install a little extension in your browser, in Chrome in this example, and make your connection from there, which works much better with Chromecast, because your PC or your laptop stays on your home Wi-Fi network, and the VPN connection only changes for that browser. You can also use a feature called split tunneling if you're using, most of the top VPNs have this, where you say your computer is on one network or doesn't have the VPN connection and the other does, and that enables you to see the other device on your Google Cast. Hopefully that's making sense. I'm not going too quickly, but basically the key here is, particularly for Google Cast, Chromecast and Apple AirPlay, is the device needs to be on the same network as your smart TV. VPNs can disrupt this, so use something either split tunneling or a Chrome extension to enable that. But the best way is to just buy yourself a HDMI cable. We're all probably familiar with HDMI cables. Everything that plugged into your TV has probably got a HDMI cable. Plug in the HDMI cable from your laptop onto your TV. Forget all the networking rubbish. You don't need it. You can use your VPN on your laptop. It's irrelevant. It's a physical connection. Doesn't always work for everybody, usually because of practicality, that you can't have a cable is not useful in a certain situation. For instance, if you've got a desktop, you want to stream from your desktop, you obviously need wireless or something like that. Otherwise, you've got a desktop sitting right next to your smart TV, or a very long HDMI cable, which can get very expensive. So HDMI cable is great. You might, like most of us do, look and search in vain for a HDMI socket on your laptop. Lots of the newer ones and desktops just don't have them. You will then need this device. It's an adapter, a Type-C USB connector to HDMI adapter. They work great. You can see here, this is the part you put in your laptop, and there's your HDMI cable goes in there and on the back of your TV. Then when you connect your TV to it, you just need to select the right HDMI input. For instance, my TV's got about 5 HDMI sockets. I think most modern TVs do. You have to pick the corresponding HDMI 1, 2, 3, 4, wherever you've plugged in the HDMI cable. But that's kind of, you probably know all that stuff anyway. So that's basically it. That's how to cast a VPN connected PC streaming to your smart TV. I hope this has helped, and if you've got any comments, I'm happy to hear them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.